Show you the complete beginner's guide on how to make your first game in Scratch. This is very simple, so let's go. So the first thing you want to do, go into Google or something, search up scratch.mit or just Scratch, it'll come up either way. And then you can see this jumble of mess here. You're going to want to have to make an account or else it won't save. And so now you can see our project here. So if we scroll over here down to like this little box here, we can see that we have a sprite. This is the default one that Scratch comes with. Now, you can do many things with a sprite. You can rename it here. You can change its positions here, make it show, change its size and direction. And just as like a little bit of a showcase, 100. That's 100 pixels to the right, negative 100 pixels to the left. Same with up, down, showing, making them show and not show, size, and direction. It should all be pretty self-explanatory. But now what exactly is a sprite? Well, a sprite is just what holds a drawing. You can just draw something, and then the code is the thing that like manipulates it in a way. I'm not going to go too into detail because I'm pretty sure you can get this. So if I just want to change the name, I can just name the add or something. You see it changes down there. It's pretty cool. You're going to want to go into the events because you basically can't start a game without this block right here when green flag clicks. So you can just drag that out there. And now when green flag clicks, if we go up here, we can see that we have a green flag. This is an extension. I probably shouldn't have that there, but whatever. And then the stop. So you basically only see these two. Now when I click the green flag, that's how my project is gonna start basically, and that's what's gonna run this code here. So as an example, if I just do move 10 steps, I go in here full screen and I click this, we can see that when the green flag is clicked, it's gonna move 10 steps. As we can see, when green flag clicks, move 10 steps. It's pretty simple. And so that's kind of the basic of how coding works inside of Scratch. And so I'm just gonna navigate up here. I'm gonna rename this to Cat Game, and I can save it over here, only if you have an account, of course. And so here we're gonna go into the three things up here. I'm gonna go into costume, and now as you can see here, we have a second drawing. So if I click on that, you can see that he changes. And so this is a good way you can have animations in the game. So I could like switch from this to this to this to this to this to make it look like it's running. And these guys are called costumes. So I'm gonna go back to the code, and now we're gonna make a game. When green flag clicked, I'm going to head into the events. You can see that we have many different blocks here, all in different colors. As you can see, it says motion for the blue, looks, sound, events, control. These are all basically what they do. So the move is basically what moves your character from left, right, up, down. So I could just do turn 15 degrees, and I'm gonna head into the control. I'm gonna do a forever loop. Now, when green flag click, it's going to forever turn 15 degrees. Gonna full screen, click the flag, and then we can see the sky is just going to continuously rotate forever and ever. And so I'm just gonna get rid of this because it's kind of useless, and I'm gonna set his direction to 0 to 90. And so now I'm gonna code some movement for you guys. So you're gonna want to grab a forever and then an if block. Now an if block is used in basically every single project. It's very essential. And now I'm gonna head over to the sensing, and I'm gonna drag key space press, and I'm gonna drag this in this little space here. It's going to extend it, and now you have this. And then I'm going to grab a change x by 10 block. Now as you can see with the change x by 10, that's just 10 pixels, so that's pretty self-explanatory. Now here's the cool thing. When green flag clicks forever, if key space rests, then I'm going to change the x by 10. So if I go up here again and I hit the space bar, we can see that I just move, because if all the conditions comply, it's going to change x by 10. And that's how a lot of Scratch is going to be working, just a bunch of conditions. And so to make this actual realistic movement, I'm going to click this, I'm going to scroll down to D, I'm going to change to 5 because that's pretty fast. And now I'm going to right click duplicate, drag this down here, do A, and I'm going to do -5, so it's going to go backwards -5 pixels. So if I click start, we can see that I can go right and left with D and A. And then I'm going to right click duplicate both of those. I'm going to do the exact same thing, I'm going to make it go up and down on the Y axis. So I'm going to get rid of these because those are only horizontal, left and right. I'm going to grab the Y. I'm going to change the 5, right click duplicate, -5. And now I'm going to change this one to W. Now I'm going to change this one to S. And when I click S, it's going to go down. So if we click start, we can see that we have movement in our game. Look at that. And it's extremely simple and easy to use. So that's kind of a basic little game we have here. And now we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to navigate down here to this, and you can see we have choose a sprite, paint, surprise, and upload a sprite. I'm going to do choose a sprite, and then you can see sprite has a bunch of drawings that we can choose from animals to letters. I'm going to go into all, and I'm going to choose a banana. Very cool. And now one other cool thing you can do is actually, if you go here, you can drag it to wherever you want. So if I want to put it there, doesn't matter. I'm going to put it up there for now. I'm going to click on the cat, set to 0, set to 0, set it to 0 so it's in the middle. I'm gonna click back to the bananas, and I'm going to do when green flag clicked forever. If this is another one of those, I'm gonna go into sensing, touching, cat. Now, the touching is gonna be anything in here. So as we can see, we have cat, so it's gonna be touching cat. And so when we do that, it's going to go up to the motion, go to random position. And that's really self-explanatory. It's gonna go to somewhere random. So now we're gonna have basically a collector game. So if I go up here, boom, 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 it changes. And I can do that forever. And now here we're gonna get into a bit of a complicated area that non-beginners should do, but I wish I knew when I started. The variable block. Now this is scary, I know, okay? I had no idea what this was when I began, and I literally only learned it 2 years after I began using it. So I'm gonna do make a variable, and now just leave it as is. I'm not gonna get really technical for the sprite only, and I'm just gonna call it score, because we need a score, of course. I'm gonna press OK, and now when I start, I'm gonna go drag the set score to 0. So when the green flag is clicked, it's always gonna go back to 0. But now you can see up here, we also have like the score at the top left, because that's basically what the variable does. And I'm gonna do change score by 1. So if the banana is touching the cat, it's gonna go to a random position, and that's gonna change the score by 1. So if I do green flag clicked, we can see that if I move and touch it, the score goes up by 1. So this is probably like the most basic game you can do. Yeah, we just gotta collect these, and you know, it's really cool. Wow. And so this is like the extreme basics into getting into Scratch. You can also drag this if you want to the middle. I just think that looks a bit cleaner. Yeah, and so one really neat thing you're gonna want to do is want to go to motion, go to 0, 0. So if I do that, you can see that the scratch goes to 0, 0. And I'm gonna do the same with the banana. I'm gonna make it go to when it starts 0 and then Y at 100, so it's gonna spawn at the top. I'm also gonna make the banana maybe like 50%, a little bit smaller, and now we're gonna go into a new area. We're gonna go into the backdrops. Let's click on that, and you can see nothing really changed, but you're not on the cat and you're not on the bananas, so that means you're in the backdrops. And the backdrop is literally just the back of your screen. So we're not gonna go into any color, we're just gonna go to backdrops, and then we're gonna draw something. So I'm gonna hit the rectangle, and I can click this thing to change its color. Let's just make it, you know, maybe a bit green. Green looks pretty cool. And I'm gonna drag across here, and we can see that the entire background is now that color, because this is just the back of everything, essentially. So if I wanted to, maybe I can make this a bit darker. Maybe I could just make like an outline for some odd reason, like this. I don't know why I would do that, but you know, it looks kind of cool. And then we also have a circle, a line, and this bucket fill. It basically changes the color of everything. So if I just like change this to like that, you can see that's gonna change one of these to those. I'm not gonna do that because I don't want to. We have the erase, the paint, so I can just like draw basically if I want to go like that. I don't use it that often because it looks kind of ugly. We have the tool here that can like change the corner. So if I click on this guy, we can change like its corners and everything. It's really weird. And then this one's just a basic drag. I'm not going to change anything too much. I'm just going to leave it as is because I don't want to get too complicated. Then go up to the costume, and I'm going to rename it to BG for background. Now I can go back into the code, and I can just go on the bananas again. And now one really cool thing you can do is I'm going to right click and duplicate the banana. So now we have another one. I'm going to drag it up here. I'm going to make it go to X 100 and Y 0. So now if I click start, we have 2 bananas, and now if I go full screen, hit that one, I get 2 more bananas, and I get a score every time, just because it's the duplicate of what we made. Pretty cool. And now I'm going to do this just 2 more times. I'm going to drag it here, and I'm going to drag it here. So I'm going to go into banana 3. I'm going to make it X 0, Y negative 100, banana 4, negative 100X, and Y 0. So now if we start, our man is surrounded by bananas, and he can just continuously collect them. But now another thing that we haven't shown yet is the sound button up here. So if I go to sound,
2 नवंबर को एक सपना सच हुआ। अब टाइम है फिर से मैदान पे उतरने का, क्योंकि अब इंडिया के लड़कों की बारी है। एक कब घर आया है, दूसरा घर से जाने नहीं देंगे। वैसे भी हमारे छोरे छोरियां तक कम है के।
आपको पूरा खाना खाकर भी अक्सर थकान और कमजोरी क्यों होती है? मानिए ये जार है आपके डेली न्यूट्रिशन की जरूरत, और ये है न्यूट्रिशन गैप। मैं सेंट्रम मल्टीविटामिन रोज लेने की सलाह देता हूँ। ये है क्लिनिकली प्रूवन, जो दे 27% ज्यादा एनर्जी और 24% ज्यादा इम्यूनिटी। सेंट्रम, फील द डिफरेंस।
we can see that we have a basic meow sound effect, but we're not going to want to use that because that's kind of bad. So I'm going to head back to the banana. I'm going to go into the sound. We can see that we have a chomp sound effect and a bite. So here's something cool we're going to do. We're going to go into the sound, and we're going to do start sound bite when we're touching the cat. And I'm going to have to do that for all of these guys because, yeah. And so now once we've done that, we can click start, and we can see We have a very cool basic game. Now this is really just the basics of Scratch. So I'm gonna go back into the Scratch and I'm gonna see that we have these two costumes. Now something cool we can do is another winger. If I clicked, scroll down to forever, and I'm going to next costume. Now if I click that, we can see that he is running extremely fast, and that's not realistic and super ugly. So I'm gonna go into the control, and we can see this wait 1 second variable. And so if I click that and drag it in here, and I'll make it like wait like 0.1 seconds. And if I zoom in and click start, we can see that he's running, and we have animations. So now we're getting an actual game. How cool. Alright, so now I'm gonna add an enemy. So I'm gonna do paint. I'm gonna rename him to enemy because he's gonna try and kill us. And I can also go down here to the left and I can choose a costume. It's not the same as over here because it's gonna make a new sprite. It's just gonna be a new costume for our enemy. I'm gonna do costume, and we can make this bat. Okay, now we have a bat. Okay, so now we have the bat in here. I'm gonna delete this costume up here because it's not needed. And so now I'm gonna do choose a sprite. Now we can see I'm gonna choose a bat for our enemy. And so we can see that we have animations for our bat. I'm going to do when green flag clicked. I'm going to drag the bat over in this corner. We can see its X positions over in Y position over there. I'm just going to do go to negative 200, 100, just because. If I click start, we can see it goes right there. And now I'm going to make him size 50%. Well, I'll make him 75. Now, this guy's going to try and kill us and stop us from getting our bananas. So we're going to do, we're going to do, this is going to be something I'll have to explain. So the move 10 steps block and the point towards, right click on that, cat block. So the move 10 steps, this guy is looking this direction right here. And now if I just change his direction, he's looking down here. And now the 10 steps, as I'm going to click, we can see that he's moving in the direction he's facing. So if I go up like this, he's going to move up there. And that's the logic that we're going to use to try and make him go towards our player. So I'm just going to do point in 90 because that's its default. So I'm going to click that, and then he's going to go back there, as we can see. And now I'm going to do forever, move 2 steps, and point towards the cat. So it's always going to point towards us, and he's also going to move 2 pixels facing in our direction because he's looking at us. I hope that makes a little bit of sense. So I'm going to do full screen and go. So now we can see that he's following us. And he's not really going to catch us because we are faster than him. But that's just kind of the logic for an enemy. It's kind of ugly watching him like look at us. So we're going to go to set rotation style, and we're going to do don't rotate. So now this is a little bit complicated, but not really. He's still going to be facing towards us, except it's not going to look like it. So as we can see, he doesn't rotate at all, but he just follows towards us, which it just looks a lot cleaner. But if you wanted to make him face towards you for like some kind of different enemy, then yeah. But also, as we can see, we don't die to him yet, so we have to code that. I'm gonna do forever. Winger if I clicked, and the control forever if another touching cat. Then we're going to go to the control, grab this, and do stop all. Now the stop all quite literally just stops everything, and it kind of like acts as if I clicked the stop flag up here. So as we can see, if I go like this, you can see that everything stopped. And that's basically how you lost. And now we're going to add a bit of animation to this guy. So I'm just going to have a really useful thing you can do. If you drag this onto the other sprite, we can see here that it just copied in here. And that's something really useful that you could use in the future. And so now, as we can see, if I zoom in, we can see he's flying towards us. And oh no, if we get touched, we die. Kind of unfortunate, really. And so, if you want to indicate that you died, you're gonna have to say that you died. We're gonna go into the events, and this broadcast message is also extremely useful. Believe me, it's used in almost every single sprite. Now, if I drag the broadcast up here, it has to be up here or else it's not gonna work. No, just remove that. I'm gonna click on it, and I'm gonna do new message. Now, you can call this whatever you want. I'm just gonna call it died, just because that's kind of what happened. And now, here's the cool part. We're gonna go here, and we're gonna paint a sprite. And as you can see, we're in the painter menu right here. We're gonna click the T. I'm gonna make it black, so I'm gonna just drag this all the way down there. I'm gonna make it a pixel. This is all the fonts, by the way, and pixel is just my favorite. So I'm gonna do you died. So I clicked and I just typed you died. I clicking on this, I'm going to make it bigger. I'm going to center it in the middle. As you can see, it's all the way up there in our I guess game view. I'm going to set it to 0 and 0. And now when I go back here, I'm going to do when green flag clicked. Looks, this is a very useful one as well. I'm going to grab the hide variable. So now when I do that, it just disappears. You can see it's not there anymore. And the hide variable basically just is the show and hide. Show, hide, show hide. Really simple. I'm gonna go to the events again, and when I receive died, so that means when the bat is gonna touch the cat, it's gonna broadcast died, and then when I receive it, it's going to show. And now in a nutshell, if I go back here like this, you can see you died, and then if I click start, it's gonna hide again. This is the most simple death screen you can ever make. And so if I just want to collect all the bananas, oh, and I already died. Okay, you can see that my score was 3 when I died, and when I go back, everything just resets like usual. So now what if I want to have, like, I don't know, 2 bats? Okay, right click, duplicate that. Just gonna drag it down there, and I'm gonna drag them up in the corner. I'm gonna set them to 200 over here, the X200. I'm gonna make a size, I don't know, like 50 or something. Maybe I'll make them smaller. And now we are gonna have 2 bats flapping at us. Oh god, come on. Oh my god. Oh, and I died, of course. This is kind of hard, but you know, very simple game. Now this is just all the basics that you can use in Scratch. If you want to go check out any of my projects, you can go to Zonk Scratch. I do make some pretty cool games. You can also go check it on my channel.